Man's journey cannot be made longer by another man, but the journey of a nail can be made longer by another nail. Welcome to Psalm 83, verse 83, ayah 23 of section section 11 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. Chapter 4 being Surah Al-Nisa, the surah devoted to women. Let's go, Psalm 83. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوْ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاءُوا بِهِ. They divulge it. أَذَاءُوا بِهِ. They divulge it. Now, when there comes to them some matter touching publicly or touching public safety or fear, the word public is in brackets, but at it reads, when there comes to them some matter concerning safety or fear. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِنَ الْأَمْنِ safety أو الخوف or fear. أَذَاءُوا بِهِ they divulge it. أَذَاءُوا بِهِ ولو ردوه إلى الرسول. If they had only referred it to the messenger, وإلى أولي الأمر منهم to the messenger or to those charged with authority among them. أولي الأمر منهم, those in authority among them. لعلمه الذين يستنبطونه منهم. لعلمه الذين يستنبطونه منهم. The proper investigators would have known it from them direct. Direct is in brackets, without the bracket is reads. The proper investigators would have known it from them. لَعَلِمَهُ would have known. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنْبِطُوا بِهِ investigators among them. يَسْتَنْبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُم investigators among them. ولولا فضل الله pardon me. ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته were ye not for the grace and mercy of God unto you. ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته. Fadl, grace, mercy, rahmatuhu, unto you, alaykum. La taba'atum ash-shaytan illa qalilan. La taba'atum ash-shaytan illa qalilan. All but a few of you would have followed Satan. Would have followed Satan. In Arabic is shaitan. In English it is Satan. Would have followed Satan. Illa qalilan, but a few of you would have followed Satan. All but a few of you would have followed Satan. Pardon me. We have a note to read, and that's note 602. That's only a few would have followed Satan, 602. In times of war or public panic, thoughtless repetition of gossip is rightly restrained by all effective states. If false, such news may cause a needless alarm. Of course, we are seeing it right now at this present time that are real. Mm. Ukraine has done this, Russia has done this and that, and then the 1,000 killed. Well, the Ukraine says, oh no, 500 kills. No, that kind of news, or rumor. If false, such news may cause needless alarm. Semicolon. If true, it may frighten the timid and cause some misgiving, even to the bravest. Misgiving, even to the grievous. There is a dot here, which is an error, which is a mistake. Let's me there. There is a comma after there, which should not be there. Mhm. Let me mark it. Okay. Uh, even to the bravest. Even to the bravest, yes, because the counterpart of it, because the counterpart of it, the preparations made to meet the danger, is not known. Full stop. Thoughtless news, true or false, may also encourage the enemy and is being used in war. Yes, during the Iraq war, the Americans dropped pamphlets from airplanes to the enemy soldiers. Nobody knows what they contained. You understand me? Nobody knows what those leaflets contained. I don't know now. They are not public or they are not publicized. Okay. Thoughtless news, true or false, may also encourage the enemy. Full stop. The proper course is quietly to hand all news direct to those who are in a position to investigate it. That's your superiors, to your commanders. Full stop. They can then sift it and take suitable measures to checkmate the enemy. Checkmate is one word. Checkmate is one word. Check, CHECKMATE. To checkmate, to checkmate the enemy. Full stop. Not to do so, but to deal with news. Not to do so, but to deal with news either thoughtlessly or maliciously is to fall directly into the snares of the evil. But that's even when if even they have the time to check it. Mm. Uh, Not to do so, but to deal with the news either thoughtlessly or maliciously is to fall directly into the snares of the evil. So when the enemy propagates false news, there might not even be time to check because the enemy is evil. They wait until the right time when they are so busy and nobody can check, then they drop the leaflets. Oh, your leader has been killed. Oh, your leader has been captured. Then they lose morale. It's like that. When in fact it might not even be true. That's a war game. Uh, is to directly fall into the snares of evil. Yeah. That's note 602 to sign 83. Let's go to sign 84. Fakatilu fi sabilillahi. Fakatilu fi sabilillahi. Then fight in God's cause. Mm. La tukallafu illa nafsika. La tukallafu illa nafsika. Uh, Thou art held responsible only for thyself. Thou art held art, thou art held responsible only for thyself. It's like la yukallifu Allah nafsan illa wus'aha. But here it's not nafsan. It's la tukallifu illa nafsika. Nafsika. Yourself or thyself. Uh, Waharit al-mu'minin. Waharit al-mu'minin. Waharit al-mu'minin. And rouse the believers, into brackets in my own brackets, to fight. Harid al-mu'minin. Rouse the believers. Maybe by examples, by your own example. Wa asa Allahu an yakufu. Asa Allahu an yakufu. Sorry, it's not yakufu, it's yakaf. Asa Allahu an yakufa bi'sa allazina kafaru. Asa Allahu an yakufa or an yakufa. Asa Allahu an yakufa bi'sa allazina kafaru. It may be that God will restrain the fury of the unbelievers in various ways. He can restrain their fury in various ways. Mm. God can cause panic in them and restrain their fury, or He can bring some thoughts in them, thoughts of doubt in them, and then restrain their fury. So, asa Allah an yakufa bisa allazina kafaru. Wallahu ashadun ba'asan. Wallahu ashadun ba'asan wa ashadun tankilan. Wallahu ashadu ba'asan wa ashadu. Wallahu ashaddu wa Allahu ashaddu ba'asan wa ashaddu tankilan. For God is strongest in might. Ba'asan, strongest in might. Wa ashaddu tankilan, and in punishment. Ashaddu tankilan and in punishment. The note to read is 603. 603. It's against tankilan, punishment. Here, punishment is not azaba. It's usually azaba. Yes, tankilan. The courage of Muhammad was as notable as his wisdom, his gentleness, and his trust in God. I love that. The courage of Muhammad was as notable as his wisdom, his gentleness, and his trust in God. Full stop. Facing fearful odds, he often stood alone and took the whole responsibility on himself. Full stop. But his example and visible trust in God inspired and roused the Muslims, and also dash, speaking purely from a human point of view, dash, restrain the fury of his enemies. Restrain the furies of their enemies. So he himself, Muhammad himself, restrained the furies of his enemies. Full stop. When we consider that he was God's inspired messenger to carry out God's plan, we can see that nothing can resist that plan. Full stop. If the enemy happens to have strength, power, or resources, God's strength, power, and resources are infinitely greater. If the enemy is meditating punishment on the righteous for their righteousness, full stop rather. Let me take it again. If the enemy happens to have strength, power, or resources, God's strength, power, and resources are infinitely greater. If the enemy is meditating punishment on the righteous for their righteousness, full stop. God's punishment for such wickedness will be infinitely greater and more effective. So the whole thing about war is based on belief. Mm, Based on belief. You believe in God, His ordinances, what He allows us to do, what He doesn't allow us to do. You are definitely not going to be a loser. Mm. And here I will add I will add something about the Russians. I personally have observed the actions of the Russians. I wouldn't like to mention Putin because he's not alone. eh? Putin is not alone. He always acts according to justice. He doesn't provoke first, and he doesn't fight without being provoked. He deals with justice. Mm. Whereas the enemies just do anything to provoke. They are not right, and yet they provoke. But the Russians keep quiet, even though they are mightier. Or, yes, even though they are mightier or at least equally mighty, they don't act until they are provoked and justifiably. Then they will then act justifiably. And such a nation, to conquer such a nation, is very difficult. This from the religious point of view. If you consider what we are talking about here throughout the Quran, you will see God mentions not taking actions unjustifiably, unjustifiable. Uh, uh, Zalamu, uh, uh, yes, unjustifiable. That's it. He will not take action on. God will not take action on you and me without cause. There must be cause. There must be a cause to take action. And I've noticed that that is what the Russians do, even though they are usually on the right side. Anyway, enough of politics. Uh, that was 603, according to. If the enemy happens to know, I think we finished it. Such wickedness will be infinitely greater, more effective. And that's note 603 to sign 603 to sign 84. Let's go to sign 85. Man yashfa'u shafa'atan. Man yashfa sha'afatan hasanatan yakun lahu nasibun minha. Whoever intercedes in a good cause becomes partner therein. ومن يشفع شفاعة سيئة يكن له كفل منها. And whoever recommends and helps an evil cause shares in its burden. له كفل منها, its burden كفل, its burden منها. وكان الله على كل شيء مقيتا. وكان الله وكان الله على كل شيء مقيتا. And God had power over all things. Mukitan here is power. Not Gadirun, but Mukitan. That's, in every language we have different words for the same thing. uh, depending on the occasion. Mm. Uh, Note 604. Against God hath power over all things. Muki Tan. Mm. Note 604. In this fleeting world's chances, God's providence and justice may not always appear plain to our eyes, but we are asked to believe that if we help and support a good cause, we share it all, we share in all its credit and in its eventual victory. Full stop. And conversely, we cannot support a bad cause without sharing it, without sharing in all its evil consequences. Full stop. If appearances seem against this faith, let us not be deceived by appearances. You see, faith is mentioned here. Mm. Against this faith, let us not be deceived by appearances, for God has power over all things. And that's note 604 to sign 85. Let's go to sign 86. Uh, what is a huyitum? What is a huyitum? Betahiyatin. Fahayu. Fahayu be asanan. Fahayu be asanan minha. Let me take it again. What is a huyitum? Betahiyatin. Fahayu be asanan minha. Very important. When a courteous greeting, courteous is in brackets, without it, it reads, when a greeting is offered you, meet it with a greeting still more courteous. Mm? فَهَيُّوهَا بِأَحْسَنًا minha, more courteous than you got as greeting. أو raduha, or at least of equal courtesy. Somebody says, good morning. You can say, good morning, sir. He didn't add sir, but you say, good morning, sir. Or at least, if you can't, you also say, good morning. But not when he says, good morning. Oh, how are you? Something like that. He greets you with courtesy, reply with more courtesy, or at least with the same or an equal measure of courtesy. أو ردوه. إن الله كان على كل شيء حسيبا. إن الله كان على كل شيء حسيبا. God takes careful account of all things. God takes careful account of all things. Note 605. Account, that's taking account of all things. 605. The necessary, the necessary correlative, the necessary correlative to the command to fight in a good cause is the command to cultivate sweetness and cordiality in our manners at all times. So you see, even at war. Full stop. For fighting is an exceptional necessity, while the sweetness of daily human intercourse is a normal need. Full stop. Further, we give kindness and courtesy without asking. We give kindness and courtesy without asking, maybe without being asked to. Okay. And return it, if possible, in even better terms than we received, or at least in equally courteous terms. Full stop. For we are all creatures of one God, and shall be brought together before him. Elehi raji'un. We shall be brought together before him. And that's note 605 to sign 86. Let's go to sign 87. Allahu, la ilaha illa huwa. Oh, this verse it's sweet to my ear. Mm, very sweet. God, there is no God but He. Allahu, la ilaha illa huwa. God first, then there is no God but He. Mm, uh, la yahma, la la yahma'annakum, la yahma'annakum, la yahma'annakum, sorry, la yahma'annakum ila yawmil qiyamati la rayba fihi. Mm. Of surety, he will gather you together on the day of judgment, about which there is no doubt. La reba fihi. Waman asdaka minallahi hadithan. It's a question. Waman asdaka minallahi hadithan. And whose word, hadithan, can be truer than God's? Asdaka minan, truer than. Asdaka minan, truer God. Truer than God's. Note, no, there's no note to it. I think that's all. There's no note to it. So we come to the end of section 11 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. In our next episode, we shall go straight to section 7, God willing. Thank you very much. May God be with you all.